It's Good News Tuesday, and I have good news. Chris Abel is here, the
Yay.
tech dude. Yay! Chris is here. Hey, Chris, a question that we're learning on the show today is about how we wake up in the morning.
Oh,
And as
okay.
part of Good News Tuesday, Katie Falloon Drew was on, and if everybody missed her, she's going to be on the podcast. That the first thoughts that go through our brain when we wake up, most of us like check phone, check email, get on social media, read things, whatever. And the notion, she's a habit change expert. And the notion is if you could change the habits of the way you wake up, keep that first 10 minutes sacred. Don't let the algorithms and social media poison poison's my word, poison the thoughts of what your
Uh,
day should look like and how you
mm,
start thinking for your day. Have you ever considered what you think of as soon as you wake up before? I hadn't.
I don't. I mean, for me, I tend to, from just habit in the past, waking up and immediately trying to take in my awareness,
Yeah.
always being concerned that something bad was going to happen to me. Because often, sadly, in my life, a lot of bad things did happen to me when I woke
Also, it's like
up.
a safety thing that kicks in, right? Like you kick
Correct.
in, make
Yes.
sure, okay, interesting. Well,
Yeah.
that's the homework of the day is to be aware of the thoughts that are with us when we wake up and see where that takes us. And Katie says that that's the first step. I mean, it's different for everybody, what everybody's goes through. But if we
Yeah.
control those thoughts, we can change a lot of the patterns in the day. I think it's fascinating. And also, two things. Number one, I always love your authenticity and honest answers. Number two, I imagine Chris's thoughts were beep boop robots. That's the first thing you'd wake up to.
Waking up, yes, to the voices of technology all saying, "Good morning, Chris Abel."
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it would be all a little bit robotic. And then that creepy, not robotic AI that's trying to be a human that sounds way too human. I feel
Hmm.
like that's like you live in the Jetsons world anyway. So, all right, tech is why we're here. Real Chris Abel online, RealKrisAbel, Chris Abel, to get more on this. And great launching point to talk about Snapchat. Looks like they're finally doing some things, which is for the improvement of everybody, but at the same time, probably to play a little nicer in the Western world so they don't take away the business.
Yes. So one of the issues that we have as Canadians is that we're often using services that are made in the US, in California in particular. And so when they launch features that will connect us to other services and recommend products and stuff like that, often it's American services that they do. So what's good is that for two events happening in Canada right now, it's National Addictions Awareness here in Canada, but also in Ontario, it's Ontario Provincial Bullying Awareness and Prevention. And so Snapchat Canada has launched a feature specifically for Canadians called Here for You. And so now any Canadians and only Canadians who are using Snapchat that generate content that contains any number of keywords that are related to mental health, things like anxiety or depression, suicide, anything that's sort of a dark thought. The app will recognize that and then prompt you to offer a range of services and institutions that are available here in Canada. And thankfully, it's a very long list of institutions. So, regardless of what your situation is or what kind of need that you may have, they've got it and they can connect you up directly from within the app. So, I'll give you a quick little list here. They have partnered with 988 Suicide Crisis Helpline, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health, CAMH, Jack.org, Kids Help Phone, Media Smarts, and for those who are listening from Quebec, Tajun. And so I think that's fantastic that this is something that, number one, they're making sure that when they offer these kinds of services, they're recognizing that their app is used in different countries and you have different services in different countries. So thankfully, for coming up and doing a Canadian version of this, I think that's wonderful. It's also very important. I don't think anyone should dismiss when companies offer these kinds of services. I can tell you that within my own lifespan, that is in my childhood, when I had conversations with teachers, they were exasperated that they did not know who to call or who to contact when there were problems with their own students. And I had a lot of students that I knew who had real difficult nightmares at home, and there was nobody to talk to. So we should never overlook the fact that today here in Canada, we have lots of institutions and technology is there to give us immediate contact for those who need, regardless of what your situation is.
Honest and legit is what you get with Chris Abel all the time. And it's interesting, Chris, this particular one, because things like words like suicide and all that stuff, a lot of those words got blocked. That was the first solution. Let's block those words. So then it started a whole new vernacular. Things like unalive, right? And then that became kind of a trend actually with younger people generally. Now that it's going to start to snag all these things and offer support instead of just blocking it and forcing people to sidestep it and find other ways around it, this is probably a good thing. I'm assuming that they will probably include some of those more trendy descriptions to sidestep those scary words too, to get
Yeah.
into the. It's quite
And it's good
fascinating.
that they're choosing to do this sort of the traditional way in terms of having technology that can recognize those keywords rather than what has been popular is to use artificial intelligence, and that's been a disaster when other companies have tried to do that with suicide prevention, and
Mhm.
instead the AI has been trying to help people, follow that
Help the
kind of
wrong way.
line of thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite amazing. Well, don't forget 988 is available for everybody. If you have some difficult thoughts or you're going through any of the stories like Chris had mentioned or your own story that causes you that stress or fear, 988 is there for you, the suicide crisis helpline. And don't think it's my problems are too small, by the way, because if they can't help you, they will refer you to a different organization. So that's the good news with all of that. Anything else to say, Chris, before we move on to that one?
No, that basically does it. I think it's a very much a good thing, and so great for Snapchat. I hope for those of you who still use it, yay Snapchat Canada.
Well, I'm trying to learn how to do it with my kids, and I'm still like man, I get tech generally. This one for me is like I'm like oh, it's a learning curve. Let me tell you. Okay, back to the beep bop boop. What Chris is known for in particular, and that's robots. These are robots causing problems, though.
Well, major scandals. So one of the things that's happening is that around the world, there's a lot of competition internationally amongst different countries in terms of which market is going to lead the world when it comes to humanoid robots in particular. And so China right now, they're at the edge. They're beating everybody. And so a fantastic example of just how well they're doing is that they recently unveiled a humanoid robot called Iron. And Iron, you've got this human-like figure, all sort of dressed in white, mask on the head, and they had it walk a catwalk to show just how realistic its ability to walk, its gait was. The thing was, it came across as being a really, really realistic looking walking device. So much so that the company began to hear accusations that all they had done was just hire a woman and gave her a costume to look like a robot as she walked down the street.
Wow.
They said if you notice, she's got little bumps where the breasts would be, there's bumps where the ears would be. Clearly, this is an actress that's in a robot costume. So the company had to repeat the demonstration, but this time they stopped the humanoid robot on stage and then cut open the actual clothing, the costume, to reveal all the robotics inside and had it walk the platform again. It was just amazing to watch.
I have a friend of mine. He does like drones type searching things, and he got presented with a robot, and they tried to make it look human. And he was like, "Nope, undo. Just make it be a robot. It does not need to look human in any way." Chris Abel is here. Chris, Russia's first humanoid. We've got about 45 seconds to get to it. It
Sure.
fell down.
Yeah, so the big contrast is Russia finally has launched their first humanoid robot, and it stumbled a few steps and then just performed an immediate face plant. Immediately, the Russians ran out on stage. They draped a black shroud across the stage as they slowly wheeled away the robot. That immediately went viral as like the big embarrassing clip of the week. So here you have almost like the space race, various countries trying to be the first one to get to market. China way ahead of where Russia is. Russia also has launched the first flight attendant humanoid robot. I'm not sure that I would like to fly in an airplane with one of those trying to walk around and serve customers.
Yes, especially if they fall over. A la Windows 95 blue screen of death. Oops. It's the way it goes. Chris Abel, real Chris Abel, Krisabel, and on YouTube too. You can find all Chris's stuff. Thanks, brother.
All right, take care.
There we go. There's the tech for you. Every week at this time, we learn more stuff. And coming up to the holidays, that's always a good thing.